What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and in movies, music, and movies and video games and television, there's an ongoing trend that we've seen further continued with Disney's casting for the new Little Mermaid. Now, what you might not know, what you didn't probably know, is that it would appear that Hollywood is systematically removing the redheads. That's right. Ginger lives matter, and we need to raise awareness. We need to spread this everywhere. It's just a few examples. You can see many redheads from comics and movies eventually being replaced. Now, it's been brought up that it's usually a redhead being replaced by a black person, but there are obviously examples of other. Unless this person here is black, I'm not sure I subscribe to that, but you can see just a small smattering of popular redheads being phased out. Interesting, isn't it? It's something we need to keep our eye on in Hollywood because, I enjoy my redheaded females. You know what I'm saying? Like, why? There's too much of a trend here. I don't have my tinfoil down here, but I don't think I need it. Now, news came out yesterday that Disney's live-action Little Mermaid would be starring a black Ariel. Now, I initially reported this person's name as Halle Baily because I read it and registered it completely wrong. But a few people asked me for my thoughts on this, and I'm going to share them with you because I think it's actually a topic that a lot of people are kind of afraid to talk about because of how certain folks react. They think that if you're just pointing out a trend or you're curious about it, or in my case, I'm only interested in the hypocrisy. Before these certified blue check marks that will tweet endlessly about how I was so mad about a black Ariel, I'm not. Okay? Let me be very clear. I don't care. I wouldn't care even if I was interested in seeing the movie. But most importantly, I think Disney live-action remakes, they just look awful to me. Now, that's probably because I grew up with the actual cartoons. So the idea of, like, Will Smith in Aladdin, or as PewDiePie would say, Aladdin, I have zero interest in it. Now, I'm probably not alone in that, but there are obviously people that are interested in live action remakes, and there probably have been some that are done well, but everything just looks so cheesy to me. But I fully admit it's probably because of everything that's in my mind already from my childhood. Now, what will be interesting to watch about this casting? So again, to be clear, I don't care. I'm just pointing out that there seems to be an interesting trend here. And from what I'm told through the grapevine, that they're going to do like a Caribbean theme for the Little Mermaid. So, I mean, like story-wise, I think it would fit, obviously. But then again, it's not really a remake at that point. But it'll be interesting to watch both the virtue signaling and then the straw manning. I think we might be able, like, Little Mermaid has the potential. I don't want to jinx it, but you'll be seeing on Friday my beautiful new brie shed. And I believe the virtue signaling levels might be so high with the Little Mermaid that I might be able to purchase, like, I don't know, a koi pond for the backyard or something like that. Let's keep our fingers crossed. So Disney's live-action Little Mermaid will star a black Ariel. Even every Disney princess for the past 30 years has had Ariel's face. Now Ariel has a new face. Disney's forthcoming live-action Little Mermaid is set to star actress and singer Halle Baily of the R&B duo Chloe and Halle. Never heard of it. As Ariel, Variety Sports. This means that one of Disney's most iconic princesses is going to look quite different. This Ariel will be black. Now, I think it is fair to ask the question, and again, I have to be careful on how I word this, not because you, the viewers, understand me, because I know you do. It's how other people will twist my words. It's fair to ask the question, I believe, if you want a black Disney princess, I know this might seem crazy to you at Disney. Why don't you write one? Why don't you build a whole universe and make this the strongest, most independent, most non-man-needing woman ever? Why? Why do you think that is? I think people have this, there's this misconception that if you have a problem with this, then you're a bad person. I think we have to be able to question, why don't you do that? To me, it's obvious that this is pandering. This is a way to get free advertising from certified blue check marks, and places like Vox and Variety will write endless articles about how woke it is and how you should go see this movie as a 35-year-old because, I don't know, POC and other buzzwords. But movie's not for me, never was for me, although I did see it because I have a twin sister. This is a giant deal. It's not because Ariel is a popular Disney princess with arguably the best I Want song in the Disney canon. Ariel is also the princess whose character design set the mold for an astonishing homogenous run of giant-eyed, small-nosed Disney princesses we've met since The Little Mermaid debuted in 1989. I would say almost all characters in Disney movies look exactly the same, not just the princesses, but that's just me. Why don't you just make her fat too while you're at it? I mean, why aren't you just, I mean, why not make her fat? You know, healthy at all sizes. Throw that in there too. In 2015, a Tumblr user named Alex made a post titled "Every woman in Disney Pixar movie in the past decade has the exact same face." She traced the face shapes for male and female characters for the past 10 years. Blah, 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 blah. Same face syndrome is most notable in Disney's current era of CGI, but it goes back to the traditional animation of the Disney Renaissance. Well, it's called cost. It's called reusing assets to produce movies faster and cheaper. I went to see Toy Story 4 with a friend of mine this past weekend, and there were trailers for 5 Disney or Pixar movies in front of it. And I couldn't tell you how any one of them were different. They all looked the same. They all had the same, like, plucky characters and, like, borderline humor. They were all the same. Disney hasn't been creative in decades. Why is anyone surprised? The only way that they can grab headlines is doing stuff like this. Now, you, the viewers, you know this. The media is so caught up in their own ideology that they either don't notice it or don't care. And they talk about it like Disney is so woke. Like, hello, McFly, this is for headlines. If you look at how other people cover it, Disney makes Little Mermaid's Ariel black, a win for diversity or pandering to PC culture. New shots being fired in the culture wars. Disney announced that the live-action remake of children's classic The Little Mermaid will star black actress Halle Baily as the lead role of Ariel. Director Rob Marshall said Bailey had been cast after an extensive search and possesses the rare combination of spirit, heart, youth, innocence, and substance. Yeah, don't forget her skin color. Naturally, the announcement provoked cries of delight from some quarters and wails of dismay from others. Fans of the decision felt like it was a big win for diversity, while critics argued that the remake should stay true to the 1989 original, in which Ariel, most will remember, was in fact a blue-eyed, red-haired white girl, or mermaid to be exact. Now, this is the thing. Will there be like legitimate blockheads out there who have a problem just because she's black? Sure. I'm not one of those people. I have a problem with pandering. I have a problem with blackwashing an existing character. Now, again, for the third time in this video, I'm not mad about it. Not my movie. Wouldn't see it anyway. But I just like to point out the hypocrisy of it all. Everyone forgetting that the Little Mermaid is Danish or Ariel's grandfather is Poseidon. Neither Danish nor Greek girl looks like Haley. You really quick to point out the culture appropriation, but why not now? This is an exact encapsulation of the argument that I think will happen, right? I talked to people on live stream last night who were asking me to cover this. I said, quite frankly, this is the new norm. I literally don't care. What I'm waiting for is when they take a traditionally black character and recast them as white. I bet you that will never happen, but if it does, it'll be hilarious because you'll be able to look back in all the Twitter histories who talked about how this wasn't about pandering and how it was just the best person for the job, and I bet you they'll be flipping their lids if that ever happened. The real original was, of course, Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tale from 1836, and that Ariel is described as having skin as clear and delicate as a rose petal, with eyes as blue as the deepest sea. So interpret that as you will. Some couldn't contain their delight. The black girls would, quote, see themselves in the new Ariel, while others argued that casting Baily was the laziest way to promote diversity and possibly even amounted to cultural appropriation, given the story's Danish origins and the fact that Ariel's grandmother is Poseidon of Greek mythology. While getting worked up over who plays a fictional mermaid doesn't seem like the best use of anyone's time, there does seem to be a hint of hypocrisy about it all. I'm probably more in line with this article, considering that the PC police accuse young white girls of cultural appropriation merely for dressing up as Polynesian Mona for Halloween not that long ago. If white girls hadn't loved Mona, they surely would have been accused of being another ism word. So is there really any way to win? No, of course there isn't. Of course there isn't. Black Ariel is only the latest recent spat of movie remakes in which the white characters have been reimagined as black. There was a similar backlash, when Black actress was cast for the role of Annie in 2014 remake of 1982 classic, my wife's favorite movie, by the way, not the remake, despite the character also being a red-haired white girl. The push for diversity is not about race either. There have been calls for a gay James Bond or even a Jane Bond, yet there's some strong signs that Outrage Brigade would never be happy, no matter how Hollywood bows to it, their every whim and demand. Well, the thing is about Hollywood, I think that they're the ones that lead a lot of this stuff. And we're going to talk about in the third video today about Spider-Man getting a boyfriend, which is peak 2019. That's all I can say. I mean, you end up with all these people talking about how woke it is. I think ultimately it's one of two things. It's likely to be pandering, but it could also be Disney being like, man, we have nothing original to say about Little Mermaid, so let's just change everybody's skin color so people can talk about it again. I'm not sure. I'll be interested to hear what your comments are in the comment section down below. I'm in it for the hypocrisy. That's what I'm here. It sustains me. That's why I'm here. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.